Winning gospel radio station is 760 AM, The Gospel, WENO, Nashville.
Welcome to the Point Show, a fast-paced program that focuses on hot-button national issues of the day and a whole lot more. And now it's time to get to the point.
Good morning, Nashville. I'm Larry. Here's Ron. And we're getting to the point of hot issues, hot topics all over the city and all over the nation. And again, we're lucky to have here the future mayor of Nashville, Tennessee, Dr. Carol Swain, is blessed us with her presence, and hopefully she's going to bless Nashville with her presence by running the city as the new mayor. Dr. Swain, how are you this morning?
I'm great, and I'm so happy to be here today and have the opportunity to speak to your audience and to just be in this studio where God is honored.
Hey, there it is. Dr. Swain, okay, first things first, we had a lot going on in the city, a lot going on in the nation, but most importantly, we got a mayoral race.
Very important.
Very, very important.
Election day is this Thursday, 3 days away.
3 days away? 3 days away?
3 days.
It's 3 days away, Dr. Swain?
Yeah, Thursday.
Thursday. Get out to vote, community. Get out to vote. Hopefully you're voting for the right candidate, Dr. Carol Swain.
Your vote is your voice.
Your vote is your voice. And let's clear the air. Dr. Swain, there have been some rumors swirling around on Facebook, things that maybe have been said about you that I want, if you could, lies, trying to scare the community and probably scare a lot of the black community away from you. And we need to clear this up because you are a candidate for all the people, not just one part or one piece of one group. You are a candidate for all the citizens. So Dr. Swain, if you would, go ahead and, if you can, clear the air if you can.
Well, first of all, this is a nonpartisan election, and so it's not about a political party. It's about the ideas and the values and principles. And I have been attacked by Nashville progressives, and some of the black candidates as well have distorted statements I've made in the past. And a couple of things in particular is I'll deal with the rumor that I support racial profiling. Nothing could be more ridiculous than to say that I, a black woman who raised two sons, they're in their 40s now, but I raised them as teenagers in Princeton, New Jersey, where they were stopped by the police, and some of it had to do with their youth, I think, but also the fact that they were black and we were in a predominantly white community. And because of my actions, the town police and the university police had to undergo training, and they instituted policies that made it better for everyone in the community. I wasn't just interested in my children because I was a faculty member. I made it better for everyone, and so I don't support racial profiling. I have said that profiling is a law enforcement tool, and we know that when the police are looking for terrorists or serial rapists or murderers, they use profiles, and it's always been the case with law enforcement. And so I understand that profiling is a part of what law enforcement does, but it's never appropriate to use that for race or ethnicity.
We know that this is a political season, and so there's going to be a lot of mudslinging and lies being told, and anything they can do to scare the people, or I say scare, not scare, but misinforming people. So these things are being done intentionally and probably trying to how can I say, distort the facts.
It's trying to scare people. It's fear mongering. And so the other big thing is about Black Lives Matter.
Yes.
I was on a forum yesterday where a council person said that I had called Black Lives Matter a terrorist group. Mm-hmm. I did do a CNN interview right after the 5 Dallas police officers were slain.
Yes.
They were ambushed. Mm-hmm. And you may remember a couple of years ago that police officers were being shot and killed.
I remember that.
White, black, blue, it didn't matter your race.
Right.
If you were a police officer, you became a target.
Right.
And these killings frequently followed Black Lives Matters rallies, and the person who did the shooting in Dallas, he was connected with the organization. And so I did say that Black Lives Matter was a destructive force and that they were tied to Marxism.
Right.
Marxism is not about helping black people.
Right.
And in that interview, I urged the viewers, because it was CNN, to go to their website to see what they were about. They're a Marxist organization that uses black people.
Right.
And so I would hope that the voters of Nashville, the people of Nashville, would give me a chance. And I'm watching one by one, including Mayor Browley, how other candidates are now adopting my positions.
Right.
And so I'm glad that they know that I have good ideas, but
You're
at
the
the
best
end of the
candidate.
day, they cannot institute those ideas because they're my ideas. And I would like to get elected on the 24th without a runoff. That way I can influence the budget. And with that budget, I would like to work on getting the Metro employees that 3% cost of living raise they were promised. I would also like to work on getting funding for some youth programs over the summer so that our young people are not on the streets having nothing to do. I understand now Mayor Browley is saying he would do that. Politicians will say anything to get elected.
Right.
After the election, they may not do anything that they promise you.
Right. Hey, here's one thing. Here's one thing. I'm in the automotive industry most of the day, most of the time, and this is something that really struck me the other day. I was riding in my car and I noticed that the council and the city reinstituted the emissions test. Now this seems like something small, but we don't know how many thousands of people are affected by this. They have to take their car through emissions. Sometimes their car won't pass emissions. They may have to buy a new car. I bought a lot of people's cars just because it wouldn't pass emissions. It was a perfectly good running car, but it wouldn't pass emissions. So they spent thousands and thousands of dollars and probably causing people all kinds of headaches. What about this excess nuisance?
Well, here's the thing is that you hear the council people say, I'm fighting for the poor, I care about the poverty. And what they did, the state passed a law saying that that we don't have to get emissions testing any longer. And that's that testing you get right when you renew your tags. We were told that we could be exempted. The city council, led by some of the people that they passed new legislation making sure that every Davidson County resident would have to pay that $10 and get their emissions testing, and if their car fails, it can be thousands of dollars. That was something that did not have to be done. It puts a burden on the voters, and these are the people that are representing you, saying they care about black people. They're making it harder for poor people.
That's right. Okay. Now, I asked the question when I walked in the studio, and I guess I'm gonna rephrase the question because I say in the black community, because sometimes the black community is separated. You have the different levels of the community, and so some of our communities I say would be more economically challenged, if I can say that. And so I would say, what can we do in the extremely challenged community to help the community some kind of way, Dr. Swain?
Well, first of all, again, we're going back to all the promises that now the mayor, he's making promises, and everyone running for mayor, most of them are promising things to the community.
Right.
My platform already included helping fix the infrastructure, the potholes, the streets, the street lights, paving, all of that with the focus on the areas of the city that have been neglected. And we know the communities, Bordeaux, North Nashville, Antioch, Donaldson. Those are among the areas that have been neglected. And when it comes to affordable housing, we're hearing about the tiny houses. Affordable housing, it's broken down into certain categories. We have the workforce housing, where you have people who are working, and they may have lived in Nashville for generations. They cannot afford the high rents or the rise in property taxes. That has to be addressed. And for young people or older people who want to own a home, they've been renting all their lives, I have spoken with developers and contractors who say they could build houses that cost less than $150,000 to purchase, but they're not getting support from from the zoning and the planners, from Metro government. And so one of the things I would do is work with the contractors and developers and the codes and zoning and all of these people that do the permits to make it possible for contractors to build. And in some cases, the city owns land that could be made available for these houses. That's something that needs to be done. When it comes to the poorest of poor, I would speak with people at HUD to find out what's available for people that own a fixed income that are not working that need housing. And then when it comes to the homeless, that's a totally different category. We do have to do something different. We have to do something more than we've been doing, and it has to include mental health. And I am opposed to building a high-rise building for homeless people downtown. There are other parts of the city, not your neighborhood. I'm not going to say your neighborhood,
Yes,
but there are places where we could put housing that includes mental health and health care for people who are homeless,
Right.
and I would support that.
Now I guess I'm not the biggest advocate. I'm sorry. I'm probably guilty of not being as sympathetic as I should be when it comes to the homeless, because a lot of times I've in personal conversations and just stopping for 2 minutes to talk to somebody, I'm not listening well enough to hear the need or the particular issue that the person may have. And so I can certainly understand it, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. I don't think that's the building a high rise and housing people. I think they did something like that in California or something like that. I don't know that giving a free house to someone is the answer, because the fact is we may give somebody an apartment somewhere downtown, but we'll never know who's living in it. You follow me? They'll and I'm not trying to demonize the homeless people. I'm not trying to do that.
Well, let me tell you this.
Yes, ma'am.
There's some people who are just like us, who are one paycheck away from homelessness,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
the families. And so we have to have housing and emergency housing for people in that category.
Yes, ma'am.
But then you have some long-term homeless people that have been on the streets 20 or 30 years. Many of them have mental problems. There has to be mental health care for those individuals. And so you really just have to look at the situation comprehensively. It's not, it's much more complex, but I'm willing to work with the communities and and the people who provide services. I know that we have a problem with the high rents and the unaffordable cost of homes here, and I'd like to keep the taxes low. City Council, they proposed raising the property taxes.
Right.
Who's that going to hurt but the elderly?
Right. Exactly. I had one question, and I wouldn't dare try to demonize our acting mayor, but I had that question. I wanted to ask the question because when the former mayor, previous mayor, had the scandal that she had going on, did Mayor Briley step up and say, was he critical at all? Did it matter to him? Did he care? He didn't care at all. I didn't hear anything, or did I miss it?
Well, I mean, I'm looking at an ad here that Mayor Briley put into the newspaper in the black community, where he's going to be pushing for affordable housing and a stronger school system and all those buzzwords.
Yes.
He's had plenty of time to do that. He has a record. And so what he's doing is stealing the best ideas from people like me. But once he's elected, I can tell you it's going to be same old, same old.
Status quo.
And this phrase that you've heard many times, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. And so how many times have politicians lied to you right before an election? Right after the election, they will not take your call. So
Right.
don't be foolish.
That's right.
Don't be foolish. Let's try something different. And I want you to work with me. And I come, from the community in the sense that I come from poverty. I was not born with a silver spoon in my mouth. I have a GED. I went to a community college before earning my other degrees and becoming a university professor. I've worked in nursing homes. I've been a sales clerk. I've sold things from door to door. I even worked in fast food for half a day. So I understand.
Nashville, Dr. Carol Swain sounds like a hard worker, and sounds like she's ready to go to work on day one. I think she is well deserving of our vote. She's definitely got our support over here. And Dr. Swain, I'm going to ask you a couple more questions. But first, Ron, we need to take a quick break if we could and cut in here and give a quick shout out to our sponsors if we could.
First of all, cash for junk cars. Get cash today and that car hauled away. 615-480-6473. 615-480-6473.
And also Nashville Motors over at 4023 Dixon Pike, home of the $500 down payment. They'll take care of you and get you rolling today. Dr. Swain, back to you. If let's see, we've touched on touched on the rumors, we've touched on the black community. I'm sorry, not just the black community, all the communities in the city, any disadvantaged community, because I don't think that you don't seem like a person to me who would isolate any particular community. I think you'd be fair to every community throughout Davidson County. Affordable housing, transit. We've got rid of transit. We do need to, in my humble opinion, you're the expert. I mean, you've studied more on this than I have. But on transit, would there be a future? How can I say a future something to enhance? Or because we've got
Yes.
we got transit nightmares, traffic nightmares in our city. If you get out in the afternoon, you may be parking on the interstate basically.
I have a lot of ideas about that, and yes, it's true that I care about all communities, all disadvantaged communities, as well as just the people of Nashville generally. I think we can all prosper together.
That's right.
That's what we need. And I have a short-term and a long-term transit approach. Short-term, I would immediately try to institute flex time and encourage the state workers and other big employers to stagger the start of the workday so everyone's not trying to get into town at the same time. Mm-hmm. And that would alleviate some of the burden. Mm-hmm. And there's some technology that would allow people to work from home. Not everyone needs to go downtown and work out of an office. I would encourage the use of that technology. I would encourage the use of rideshare, especially for people who commute into Nashville. Mm-hmm. The buses, there is a reason why people are not riding the buses. It's one of the worst bus systems I've ever seen, and I've lived in several cities. Mm-hmm. We can improve the buses, and we can also do more with technology when it comes to using the street lights, but putting in at the major intersections. There are 50 major intersections that don't have turning lanes. Right. Put in the turning lanes so that someone is turning, that they don't have to be in a long line of traffic. Right. I would do that. And then long term, we have to look at some of the transit options. Mm-hmm. But the things I've just listed could be done immediately. It would not cost a lot of money. Right.
Okay. Hey, Ron, jobs in the city. We've got our employment level. We're pretty good. Our employment level in Davidson County is pretty good, I believe. Tell me if I'm wrong.
But it is, but maybe not necessarily the kind of jobs that pay enough that people are able to afford the things that they want. I would like to see vocational education return to the high school, because not everyone belongs in college. Mm-hmm. And some of the kids that act out, they're acting out because that they don't have the skills maybe to do well academically, but they have talent.
Right.
And so, I mean, they could be in some type of apprenticeship program. And so returning that to the schools, I think that we could do more with workforce development, training people for better jobs, creating more opportunities in that way. And then business entrepreneurship. One of the things I want to do is work with small businesses. The city has been focused on big developers and big business. It's time for us to focus on those small businesses that may become big businesses later, but we have to do that. And I think that we can make all areas of the city prosper. And with the young people, we create those summer jobs. Like, some of them can help make their communities better. If they're willing to work, then we should pay them to do that and let them use their skills. Let them learn, if for some of them it's landscaping, that they would learn how to prune bushes and stuff like that. You can make a lot of money as a landscaper, but they can work in their community. They can learn how to paint. Just things that they can learn over the summer.
Right. You'd be surprised. I was actually talking to a landscaping guy. He said he doesn't only prune bushes. He says he actually goes in and sets the yard. This guy didn't have a degree from anywhere. He sets the yard to a yard design. Yes. To where your yard looks like you live in Beverly Hills or something. So we do not sell just because you see someone out doing a blue collar job in a yard. Don't sell it short. And he said it was a lucrative business when you design a yard for somebody. I didn't think it that way, and it's something I want to touch on something real quick. You probably aren't keeping up with this, but it's a story I just read. It said that I'm not going to use the former president's name, but it says he's pleading with one of the hip hop artists to not meet with the president, the sitting president. Millennials are leaving the Democratic Party. Millennials are leaving the Democratic Party. They're getting more informed. We'll be getting a more informed voting block. You follow me? So please keep that in mind. But also, lastly, Dr. Swain, just so we get it straight, let's get it straight here. The rumors that we're reading on Facebook and in some of the publications these are scare tactics, and they're trying to drive fear mongering.
Let me tell you why.
Uh-huh.
The polls show that I will be in a runoff with David Briley. All of those other candidates, the 12 or 13 candidates, it's going to be between me and David Briley. And so when you vote, you need to decide whether you want David Briley to continue as your mayor with all these promises he's made. He's already broken a promise with Metro employees. Do you think he's going to treat you better?
Wow.
Do you really believe that he's going to do better by you? And so I'm urging people to vote for me. And yeah, a lot of our young people are learning more about the Democratic Party, and some of them are voting for the best candidate.
Right.
I am the best candidate. I'm the one who will keep her promises to the voters. And so I'm asking for you to give me a chance. You've given the other guys chances over the years. They have repeatedly betrayed your trust. I am a devout Christian. I'm only running because I believe that this is God's next assignment for me.
Amen.
I need your support. I need you to get on the phone, and I need you to go to the polls and take 5 or 10 other people with you and vote for Swain for mayor on May 24th. This Thursday, vote for Swain. Don't waste your vote on any of those other people that are in the race.
That's Dr. Swain.
You're listening to the To The Point Show with Opinionated Larry. Mondays at 11 a.m., tothepointshow.com. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram.
Hey, okay, Ron, I'm sure you're keeping up with everything that's going on in the city, Ron. We didn't catch up on any of the hot stories, Dr. Swain, and this is stuff that caught me off guard, and it was plastered on my TV screen when I turned the TV on last night. The royal wedding. Now, I'm not a subject of the British Empire as far as I know of. So I don't know why on every channel I turned on, they wanted to push the royal wedding. I don't know those people personally.
Wasn't it just everything you imagined it would be?
Oh, God. Well, what happened is that I don't know what, I mean, of course it's, I guess they want to build it up and hype it up. Is there so little going on in our news media and our lives that this is something that we need to be so attentive to?
I think it got so much attention because it is a interracial marriage, and
it's
a
an
love
interracial
story
marriage. I didn't know that.
Cuts across race and class, and so people are focused on it. But I mean, we do have pressing issues in this city and in this nation. And the only way we're going to be able to address those issues is to realize that God made one race, the human race.
Amen.
And we were meant to get along with each other. Heaven is not going to be segregated.
Amen.
And so right now we need to begin to put aside our differences. And as part of the black community, we need to work on the problems in our community when it comes to the violent crime rate, when it comes to the excessively high abortion rate. There's so many things that are destroying our communities. We need to work on those things individually and with other people. And that's part of what I want to do.
Speaking of that, we had a shooting, a school shooting in Texas late last week, and I understand that there were 10 people killed and some 13, 14 people injured, and that's, I don't know how much influence the mayor would have in the schools, because I have a young son that's still in school. I'm not. He hadn't been in. He's been private school, but still, it's private school, local school. We've got to be. That's something that's concerned me. Every day I drop my son off at school, the main thing on my mind is he's safe here today. Is your child safe at school? And should that be something that we should be worried about? Should that be something should we have to worry about that? You follow me?
I mean, we shouldn't have to worry about it, but we do because of the moral decay in our society. And I think that schools will have to have metal detectors. And when kids are acting out, usually with these school shooters, there were just numerous warning signs that the child was struggling. They were being picked on. They had mental issues. And in this particular case, the father had a gun that he had a permit for, he was legally entitled to have that gun was not locked up. And so parents have to take more responsibility.
Absolutely.
We need to intervene, whether it's in kindergarten, to try to teach our children about the sanctity of human life so that they will not be so quick to settle their disputes by taking the life of another human being. And then practically, I think all of us have to prepare for active shooter situations that may happen at restaurants, at schools, or at businesses. That seems to be a part of our culture. Our culture is broken because we've moved so far away from the biblical values about right and wrong. We're telling our children in some places that there are no absolute rights and wrongs. There are absolute rights and wrongs, and there's good and evil seems to be triumphing at this time.
I believe that we've left the love thy neighbor verse. we've dropped it. We've dropped the ball when it says love thy neighbor, and how precious is a human life. Every human life, not just people people you come in contact with. We had a show last week, and when we spoke with a lady, Michelle, fantastic lady, and Michelle, the basis of our conversation was, do we still talk to one another anymore? Because someone can have a problem and they want to share it with you, but we're so closed off nowadays, we would never know it. You know what I mean, Miss Mayor? I'm sorry, future mayor.
Let me tell you, we do need to have more conversations, and just with some of the rumors we've been trying to address during this program about what people are saying about me. As mayor, one of the things I want to do is to meet in the community, have town halls, and let people express their fears and concerns, give their suggestions, and just have a better dialogue. And You do need to talk with people that you wouldn't normally talk with. And so you shouldn't judge people based on what you hear. Give people a fair shake. Let them explain, what you heard they said or you heard they did. Give them a chance.
Dr. Carol Swain seems like a mayor that will reach out to you and be an up-close and personal mayor. Very easy to talk to, and it's a wonderful person. Please get out, make your vote count this year. Don't waste your vote. If this is a year that Nashville can have real change, and effective leadership, Dr. Carol Swain, it's been a pleasure having you in the studio again. We hope that you are the next mayor of Nashville. You've certainly got our support here at To The Point, and we are just behind you 100%.
Thank you so much, and
Yes,
I look forward to serving the people of Nashville and also showing you what good government looks like.
All right. Hey, you heard it right here on To The Point. Ron, what else do we have left? We got anything else we need to push through? Dr. Swain, it's been a pleasure having you. We're going to be at the voting booth with your shirts on.
That's right. But she did say one thing. We can't go on what we hear about people. We have to see what they say themselves and judge for ourselves.
Absolutely.
Instead of hearing hearsay about anyone.
A lot of rumors.
Some things they might have heard about anyone. It might have been true, but people change over time as well, too. So you hear from...
Right here from the mayor, the candidate, the future mayor of Nashville, right here. You heard it right here. And so we got, I think she's got my trust 100%. Dr. Swain's got my trust 100%.
And this is the To The Point show. Cash for Junk Cards is our sponsor. Get cash today, and that vehicle hauled away. If you have a vehicle that is just sitting out there and rusting and you need to get rid of it to create space in your space, get cash today. A call 615-480-6473, 615-480-6473.
Thank you, Ron. Hey, that was the most important part of our show today, to have our future mayor on for the day. But we also had, and Ron, I didn't get to watch any NBA basketball over the weekend. I don't know that I'll have time. I may have to TiVo my NBA if I'm getting caught up on NBA.
They still use that TiVo?
I don't know, but I am a fan. I just don't have a lot of time to watch it
anymore. You're a LeBron fan?
Of course not. Of course not.
They won the third game. We got the fourth game tonight.
Okay, the
series
game for
tonight. Is 2-1.
Okay.
They lost 2 games to Boston.
Okay,
the first game they won at the Cavs.
Okay, and we want to also, Ron, before I forget, because this was on my mind heavy, and I didn't stress it, but I did mention it to Dr. Swain. about the Texas shooting. Please keep the folks in Texas in your prayers. If you know someone, if you've talked to someone, please reach out to a friend. If someone's in trouble, don't walk past them. Give them an ear. Give them a minute. Give them 2 minutes if you got it. Talk to somebody, because people are going through a whole lot right now. Hey, just for not being their friend on Facebook, you may have just turned somebody's whole life upside down. I didn't know, and I got to get on my Facebook stuff, and because I got some friends that have requested me, and I need to get caught up. So, but in that being
We
said,
might do a show on Facebook.
yeah, I say it in gist, but I'm saying it sincerely. Please reach out to your friends. Well, this has been To The Point Nashville. Get out, vote, and vote for Dr. Carol Swain this week. Thank you so much, Nashville.
Thank you for tuning in to the To The Point Show. Like us on Thank you for tuning in to the To The Point Show. Like us on Facebook or visit our website, tothepointshow.com. Join us every Monday at 11 a.m. on 760 a.m. The Gospel.
Gospel.
I'm just screaming right now.
Gospel.